Cabco. Welcome to Cabarrus This Week, the show that connects you to the people, programs, and events that impact our community. I'm Kasha Thompson, and we're at Rotary Square in downtown Concord, the location of the City of Concord's Christmas tree and Christmas Village. As the year comes to an end, our Cabco TV team is taking time to reflect on the variety of interesting stories from 2021. We've each selected the stories that mean the most to us and collected them here in this episode. And stay tuned, you'll meet our newest coworker and get a peek at a recently added member of our extended Cabco TV family. Now, to get us started, I'm honored to share my selection. It's a piece on Noelle Rhodes. Noelle retires as president and CEO of the Cabarrus Arts Council on December 31st. The story's special to me because the arts are an important part of my life. Thanks to Noelle's vision and dedication, my family can experience and participate in arts right here in Cabarrus County. Thanks, Noelle. Let's learn more about her tenure and her plans for the future.
I am Noelle Rhodes Scott. I am the president and CEO of the Cabarrus Arts Council. I was hired in 2000, September 15th, 2000. And what we decided as a board and staff was that in order to get a community that did not seem to have a lot of interest in the arts, there was very, very, very little going on here in the arts. There was not a real gallery here. And nobody was screaming foul, we need something. So we decided to start with the schools. And that's when students take part in the arts started. I met with every principal and both superintendents to determine what did we want this to look like. And that's when we decided to do something very different from most communities, and that we would leave no child behind, and every single student in Cabarrus County and Kannapolis City Schools would get a professional performing arts experience every single year. And then the community started to get interested. We were doing it for the children in the community, and then the result of that was by the time we were invited to move into this beautiful building by the county, I was getting regular phone calls from people in the community, parents, and people who were hearing about the performances that the children were seeing, going, when can we come see this? When can our other children come see this? But by the time we moved in here, we thought, okay, I think we can sell some tickets once we have a theater. The county, they had beautifully restored this building, and it stayed closed most of the time to the community. Eventually, I got the call that said, would you all be interested in moving into the historic courthouse? So they allowed us to raise money to turn these beautiful rooms into beautiful gallery space, and to turn the former courtroom into a 230-seat state-of-the-art theater. And the money raised was the easiest money I've ever raised in my life because people were so excited about it. So we raised more than we needed for those 2 floors, so we bumped it up to the old attic and created green room, dressing rooms, and another office space. The first Breakfast for the Arts, that was our first fundraiser. We very intentionally chose not to have a gala, which had been, arts councils had been famous for their galas early on, but it excludes so many people. We wanted this arts council from my beginning here to be obviously for everybody. So our very first Breakfast for the Arts was in 2001. Nobody even knew what an arts council was or that there was one here. Fast forward to the last one we were able to have in 2019, only because of COVID we haven't had it since. And we had over 800 people, and then at the end of it, we asked people to support. And people support how much they can. So fast forward, and we realized that in about 2008 or so, we really needed bigger donations. And we thought, okay, we can do something that we have a pretty hefty ticket price for. And so we decided to do dancing for the arts. And we asked stars in our own community, you know, whether it's Scott Padgett, Bill Dush, people from all across the county. It is a fabulous show. We can't wait to do that again. It's very bittersweet to leave, as you might imagine. I'm going to miss so much about it. I'm going to miss the people. I love my team. Oh my goodness. We work hard and we laugh hard, and I just love every one of them so much. But I really want to go out on a high point. I want to go out while my husband and I still have lots of energy for kayaking, for hiking, for being a consumer of the arts. I will still be involved, not only in the arts, but also in things that really promote equality, that promote people treating everyone like human beings, for loving our neighbor as ourselves. So I think I will not be at a lack for things to do, but I don't have enough time or energy right now to wrap my mind around a plan. I'm sort of looking forward to not having a plan.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Weaver, and I'm Creative Manager here with Cabarrus County Communications and Outreach. And the story that meant the most to me this year was probably our exploration of the Jackson Training School. I grew up in an adjoining county, and the place always intrigued me. And when we had a chance to get on that property and kind of show what it was all about, I jumped at the chance for sure. So in this video, we went out with Deputy County Manager Jonathan Marshall, and he kind of showed us around the facility and explained what was going on with the county's involvement. Hope you enjoy it.
We're standing in front of the King's Daughters Cottage, and maybe that's the best place to start with how the county ended up with this property and ended up on this project. This is all state-owned property. It's part of a training school for particularly young boys, and we're otherwise going to go to jail, but through some reform sent here. So it essentially is a reform school. It had been used over the years by the state. Even as they built new facilities, they continued to use some of these cottages. But then they eventually moved out of all of them. And the King's Daughters Cottage is a great example of one that they moved out of, and nature began to take over. So we've actually cleared this building of some trees growing around it, but you can already start to see vines growing back up around it. The state had realized that this is all surplus property for them. They had no plans of anything to do with it. So they did a legislative study commission. They looked at the surplus property, and they determined for both this historic portion of it as well as some other properties they own around here that perhaps the best thing to do was to look at partnering with the county and eventually with a private group to redevelop this. So the idea now is that this property, we've identified what area would be transferred of the historic buildings. We can't transfer all of them because some of them are still in with parts of state property that's being used. But the idea is we would take most of the historic district. The county will advertise for projects and look for a partner to restore and rehabilitate these properties. In order to do that, the property will transfer from the state to the county to a nonprofit, Preservation North Carolina, then to the developer, and there'll be restrictions and covenants on that to make sure it's developed historically correct. This bridge is one of the most prominent parts of the campus. It connects the campus proper of the training school to the chapel. It's a footbridge over Old Charlotte Road. The county had this cleared off also when we cleared around the cottages and the chapel, because we felt like this is an example and shows people that something is happening out here. We're going to be going out and soliciting proposals to redevelop this property and restore it. And we feel like by showing this off, people will see that. It's a tangible evidence that something is going on. Again, we talk about this being a good example just because even though it doesn't look like it's in a great state of preservation, it actually is more structurally intact because of the type of construction. state historic properties have been out here and they've been in and out of each one of these buildings and have a fairly good idea with each building what condition it's in and whether they think it can be restored. And it looks very far past being restored, but they believe this one can be. One of the options we've been looking at is UNC Charlotte has very graciously, through their College of Engineering, volunteered to help us detail some of the architecture out here. So we are looking at working with them both with some drone technology to assess roof conditions, but also they have some ways to map some of the architectural details using computer scanning systems, and that way you can get that done without ever actually having to touch this and get inside it.
Hey everybody, I'm Jarrett Glass, the production manager here at Cabarrus County Television, and one of my favorite videos from this past year was from the Veteran Special that we did. We sat down with Cheryl Edwards, who is a widow of a deceased veteran who was helped tremendously by Cabarrus County Veteran Services, and Tony Miller, the director of that department. It was one of my favorite videos that we've done ever at Cabarrus County, and I've been here for 8 years now, so it had quite an impact on me. So I wanted to share it again with you here. Take a look.
We were just 2 months shy of being married for 53 years. When he graduated from high school, he knew that he wanted to join the military. He went in to the Army recruiter and they asked him how he felt about jumping out of airplanes, and he was one of these people that liked a lot of excitement in life. And so he said, sign me up. He was with the 101st Airborne, Screaming Eagles. He was very much a people person. He never met a stranger. In a campground, we had a motorhome. And he went out there and he had never met this person. And 2 hours later, he comes back in. I said, Jerry, what do you find to talk about with a stranger for 2 hours? He said he was only a stranger for a moment. He said after that, he was my friend. His one son told him, said one time, because he talked to anybody and everybody, he said, Dad, if I lived in your neighborhood, he said, if I saw you coming, I'd pull my blinds. Because I knew it was going to be an hour or two before I went. When he was in the military, his chute didn't open one time. And he had crushed vertebrae from that. He had the effects of it, but he just never gave into it. Then it just became a lot more pain than he could handle just, on his own. We were having dinner with someone and this other couple was there, and he's asked Jerry, he says, well, you ought to be getting some help from the Veteran Services. And Jerry said, well, I've been to 2, 3, 4, whatever it was. And he says, there's just nothing there. They don't seem to think there's much to this, or they don't follow through. And he said, Jerry, you need to go see this gentleman that I've seen. He said he's an awesome man, and he really works hard for the veterans.
I was able to get Mr. Edwards to go back to get new doctor's appointments to get diagnosis. And once I was able to do that, then I was able to put in a claim from Mr. Edwards for an increase in new disabilities.
Tony really was the first one. Tony Miller with Cabarrus was the first one that really pursued and talked to him about so many things. He brought out things that Jerry had never talked about before.
As I went through the claim process and gathering information, working with Mr. Edwards, we became best of friends. We would call each other on the phone, we would check on each other.
Tony was one of these that his job didn't stop at 5 o'clock. You don't find many people like that in life. But him and Jerry just really had a good connection. And I'm sure many people will say that same thing about Tony.
Mr. Edwards felt so very comfortable with me, and he said it was something special about me, and he was able to open up and share things with me that he hadn't shared before. And I was able to utilize that information to be able to help him moving forward with his claim.
Jerry would say, I just can't believe what this man does, and what he has done for me. Cabarrus County Veteran Services is just an amazing place, and Tony Miller he has to be #1 in the nation as far as I'm concerned. Just an amazing, amazing person.
He was special to me. We would talk on the phone in between. He would call and check on me. I was able to, for holidays, for Veterans Day, to give him certain gifts, and for Christmas, I was able to provide gifts for him and his wife, and he was so just surprised that I was thought enough of him to give him a Christmas gift from Veteran Services, and he remember him saying that he saved it. Okay, I don't want to talk no more. Get a little emotional. Mr. Edward was so proud that he,
Jerry was just an example for many people in life. To love one another, to help one another. I'm sorry, I just get emotional thinking about it, you know, because it just seems like it hasn't been that long, you know. But I think he's a person that you try to live your life like, enjoying every moment. And he did.
It's Dominique Clark, and I am the Digital Strategist and Outreach Coordinator for Cabarrus County. And one of the stories that I really loved this year was about KMAC. KMAC is the Kannapolis African American Museum and Cultural Center, and it's important to me as a Black person who is raising a Black family to have a place for us to go to learn about the history and contributions of Black people in Cabarrus County, and to really get behind a place that's amplifying the voices of Black people in the county as well. And so that story is really, really special to me. And the icing on the cake is that we got to meet Miss Corrine Cannon, who at the time of her interview was 102 years old and is the first African-American woman to be employed by the Mills in a traditional role. And she also happens to be Nick Cannon's grandmother, so she's a gem, and I love what she was able to do for the county. She helped to open doors for other Black people and to give them permission to take a seat at the table as well. So take a look, and I hope you enjoy this story just as much as I did.
Our mission, our purpose is to preserve the history and culture of African Americans in Cabarrus and Rowan County, so that we can have a place to house that history and to archive that history so that it will be around when all of us are long gone. We have various KMAC programs such as our history collection. We just launched our virtual education series called Three Voices Speak. We just had our 7th anniversary virtually. It is a very formal event that we have to induct those persons who are part of our Hall of Fame. People like Warren C. Coleman, Milton L. Taylor, and Ms. Corrine Cannon.
There's very few people in Cabarrus County that haven't heard about Corrine Cannon.
Mrs. Cannon is a jewel.
I have 29 grandchildren and 70-some great-children, great-grandchildren, nieces and nephews and all that. I am Nick Cannon's great-grandma. He's my oldest great-grandchild. A lot like his grandma. Real outgoing, asking questions.
She is history herself. She does have a history to share.
Well, it was during the time of the civil rights movement, and things were changing. And I heard that they were going to start hiring Black women to work in the mill. I got a telephone call and they said, "You want to speak to Corrine Cannon? Would I be interested in working in the mill?" I said, "Well, I don't know." We went that next morning. And I'm gonna tell you what happened. After that first year we worked, I don't think there was a child around that didn't start getting higher education. It opened doors for so many people.
We're going to put all of that history, all of that into a building so that it becomes not only just a legacy of us who are trying to establish it, but also the legacy for generations to come.
It's wonderful to have something that we can look back on and say is ours. Everything in Kannapolis, along with the structure of the town and everything, has been so changed, and if we don't have something to hold on to, we won't know that it ever existed.
So can't you see why we love Miss Cannon so much? She is such a doll for paving the way for so many in this community, but she has also paved the way for the new addition to my family. If you've been wondering where I've been on maternity leave, and we have introduced or welcomed a new baby girl to our family, Zuri West. So from the newest member of the Clark family to the newest member of Team Capco, here's Tiffany Powell.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Powell, the Internal Communication Specialist at Cabarrus County. Earlier this year, Cabarrus County dedicated funds to help local small businesses recover from economic hardship caused by COVID-19. As the spouse of a small business owner, I've seen the struggles entrepreneurs face during the pandemic firsthand. Here's a story that has resonated with me on a local business that received a $10,000 grant and how they are using it to sustain their business during these hard times.
We are a manufacturing business. We're a precision machine shop. So we take raw material and we use mills, lathes, gear shapers, grinders to make a useful part for the manufacturing industry. We got pretty slow during COVID. It was pretty tough. We had some customers completely shut down. Once it came back very strong. And so we are very backlogged, have a hard time keeping up with capacity. Challenges are two things, supply chain issues and labor issues. So both of those are putting a lot of constraint on our business. Just trying to recruit and be the most competitive employer I can be in the county. I heard about it through an email from Economic Development. Immediately I looked for the requirements. How do I meet the requirements of the grant? And I did. And so I just clicked Start Application. And it was a really easy process, super simple. That is paying for recruiters to bring qualified skilled machinists here. I can also use that to increase my benefit offerings, whether that's health benefits or otherwise. Cash flow is king for small businesses, right? So you are helping with cash flow here, which is affecting local jobs, all of my employees, and them being able to take care of their families.
Hey guys, I'm Scott Grossman. I'm a production assistant here at Cabarrus County. That means I kind of make videos for the show that you're watching right now. One of my favorite moments of the year was when we got to do the story on the Cabarrus Burger Madness Challenge. Now I'm a big guy, I like to eat, but one of the coolest things about it was I got to hang out with my coworker Jarrett Glass and do a little research on a lot of these burgers. And during that time, we met other members of the county and other departments and talked to them about what burgers they liked and didn't like, and got to talking with the owners of these businesses about how it's impacted them. And I thought it was a great moment to bring me closer to the people of Cabarrus County and see what they like. Here's a look at that story.
Everything from creamy goat cheese on the winning burger. There was lots of bacon, lots of pimento cheese, pickled fried green tomatoes. The combination of creamy, crunchy, everything that you could want in a burger, these 12 burgers really provided. Cabarrus Burger Madness took place March 1st through 31st, and it is a month-long celebration of limited time burgers that were available from 12 of Cabarrus County's local restaurants.
We called ours the Candied Goat Burger, and just a fantastic response.
We really wanted to give diners something, new and exciting to try, while just giving chefs an opportunity to create their dream burgers and go all out.
A half-pound USDA, ground chuck patty, creamy goat cheese, brown sugar candy bacon, crispy onion frizzles, a barbecue aioli. Every single one of our staff members, when we tasted that burger, that was the home run.
We were really grateful to have 12 local restaurants participate. They are what made it possible. Their creativity and their passion for what they do and for serving the residents and visitors of Cabarrus County.
From day one, we had people come in and ask for it. Day two, we were just holding on, trying not to get bucked off the horse.
There will be more competitions, more challenges coming.
We're a kitchen of fat kids. We just like to eat, so if that means we get to test a lot of new awesome burgers, throughout the next year or so, getting ready to defend the title, then we're excited about that.
It was an all-star lineup of just amazing dishes, and we can't wait to just continue to showcase that culinary creativity from our partners.
Order up.
Before we go, we want to celebrate the events that brought us together in 2021. Some of you came in person and some viewed them online. Some required a drive-through, some were spaced 6 feet apart, and some were cautiously close. No matter how they happened, we were together, and that was a wonderful feeling. Let's take a look.
As part of National Law Day events, local law enforcement officers, the families of fallen officers, and members of the community gathered on Friday, May 7th on the front steps of the Cabarrus County Government Center to present the Robert J. Urey Award to a deserving veteran law enforcement officer.
The life and service of this individual is a fitting tribute to the memory of Robert Jackson Urey and worthy of our recognition. Please join Sheriff Shaw, Chief Gasick, and me in congratulating the 2021 Robert Jackson Urey Award recipient, Lieutenant Alan Tomlin.
I'd like to direct your attention now to the beam. The American flag represents the patriotism we share. The pine tree stands for life and vitality. You may also notice signatures from a variety of stakeholders in this project. Those belong to our courthouse workers, elected officials, local businesses and organizations, and the entire Cabarrus community.
Cabarrus County's Gov 101 program is a series of workshops designed to inform residents on various topics and is available to all Cabarrus County residents ages 18 and older. Past workshop topics include the county's budget, recycling, public safety, building and communications, and more.
It's a national celebration all across the country that gives an opportunity for law enforcement and other first responders to come out and meet with the community. And so it's just a good opportunity to form relationships with the community under some very happy circumstances as opposed to when we're on a call.
It's another great day in Concord, isn't it? Yeah!
We are here for a groundbreaking today for an awesome project that's going to enhance the city of Concord and the county of Cabarrus, our home seat here in many ways that we can't even imagine right now. So it's very exciting to be here and part of this groundbreaking.
Today we're talking about places to live downtown. Working with the county and our other partners, we've been successfully attracting companies to lay down roots here in Cabarrus County and Concord. These projects represent over $70 million worth of investment in our downtown.
This was an exciting day, and we are so thrilled at the CVB to be able to spend some of those tourism dollars that also benefit directly our community.
The funds that we used to build these facilities were generated from people outside of our community that came here to visit.
This headquarters will be the next chapter in the remarkable story of us, and we are excited to share this journey with you all.
This site sits on a visible corner in the heart of Cabarrus County, on a site that many proudly remember as the old fairgrounds. We're proud to find a new and important purpose for this county-owned location.
3, 2, 1.
We had a busy year. It was good to see you, Cabco. We want to thank you for watching today and throughout the year. We look forward to the new year when we'll bring you even more stories of the people, places, and things that make Cabco so special. As always, you can view our stories and updates by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Cabarrus County, or subscribing to our weekly newsletter. Just visit cabarruscounty.us and type newsletter in the search bar, and watch all of our other programming on demand at youtube.com/Cabarrus County, including live commissioner meetings on the first and third Monday of each month. Like and subscribe to get all of our updates. Happy holidays. Take care.